Good evening and welcome to Your Call. Tonight's guest is someone who needs virtually no introduction. Every book he writes tops Indian best-selling lists. Many of them are snapped up at Bollywood film giants as soon as they're out. And he's a man who's truly become, in many ways, a new-age communications guru, whether it's via books, columns or Twitter. Chetan Bhagat joins me now. Let's just first look at the highlights of his life and career. Chetan Bhagat out with your new book, Revolution 2020. Interesting name, whereas many said that we've already lived through a Revolution 2011.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I started writing this book around 2 years back, and I was a little more cautious. I thought the revolution will come in 2020. I still feel the recent movement was a precursor to the real revolution. So, but I think my foreboding was right in a way. I'm happy that what I was writing about also ended up happening in the country. I still believe what happened in Anna Hazare's movement was just a start.
Many of your books, your thoughts, your opinions reach out to a very young audience, and you are young, so clearly that's obvious, that's why it happens. But sometimes does that become a bit simplistic? I mean, we see Chetan Bhagat columns, many are quoted, you're retweeted all the time. You had that controversial one about politicians where you said, you know, you should tattoo on your arm.
Mera neta chor hai.
Why did you do that? Why did you think you didn't think that was an extreme position to take? I
mean, the fact is, some of our leaders are behaving like thieves. Let's just be honest about it and put it in our arm. Right. I think that allowed, once I put that picture, and if you roam around the city with that written, even your auto driver will ask you.
It's a certain shock factor which
and then you can at least explain to him why you've written it. So I thought it's a very effective tool. It's non-violent. And I think it did work.
So many people who actually want to speak to you, and I think especially because of your huge, as I said, youth following. And I've got a young politician on line and an actress as well. Khushbu joins me from Chennai. Khushbu, go ahead with your question for Chetan Bhagat.
Hi Chetan, how are you doing?
I'm very good.
This is not the question. I wanted to ask you actually about your next book. Do you intend to have the inputs of what the current trend of corruption and corrupt hatao, but then when Sonia asked you a question, I think that's what your title says, Love and Corruption.
I think I keep a track of what young people are thinking. And I think it's just sometimes you get lucky that it just happened right now. But even if this movement had not happened, I started writing this book when Egypt had also not happened. And, you know, my people said that, what are you writing on this revolution thing? But it's not something, you know, even if this hadn't happened, look at all the cultures. In France, there was a revolution. In America, there was a revolution. In China, there was a revolution. So I thought, why can't there be in India? And what an Indian revolution might be.
Chetan Bhagat, just looking at that Anna Hazare movement and that whole conversation with Khushbu, the feeling is that, you know, in India, somehow things will go back to the way they were. We've just seen the various competition of fast which has happened in Gujarat. Do things retain their value, their novelty value? I fear that even fast will be diminished as the months pass.
Well, I think fasts will be diminished. I think we will have to come from a communication standpoint, as if you were to ask me. I think, yes, a tool works only so many times. And it kind of Anna's fast works. But, you know, it's like anything, you know, if there is a certain kind of movie that has worked, a lot of people try to copy it, you know. Same things I think some politicians might be trying to do. It will not work to the same effect. It will look as a Me Too. But that doesn't mean some other form may not work. I think there are other forms of protest that are yet to be coming, yet to be invented.
Well, I have another young politician online who wants to ask you a question. Kalikesh Singh Dio, go ahead with your question for Chetan Bhagat. Do you read Chetan's books, his columns, Twitter?
Well, I actually read one of his books, Two States, I think. I thought it was quite funny. Interesting book, very funny.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if he's actually married to somebody who's from South India.
Yeah, I'm married to a Tamil Brahmin girl. Till this morning I was.
So what language do your kids speak in?
My kids, well, they speak in a mixture of broken Marathi which is picked up from the maids and Bombay where they live, or Mumbai, whatever you call it. They speak a bit of Hindi and a little bit of Tamil and English.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.